This video is about gap processing in AQUARIUS time series, and we'll discuss gap tolerances and the difference between marked gaps and empty values. I'll be doing this on a 310 system. So I'll just shoot over to my springboard here, and I've got Location Manager open, and highlighted in the Datasets tab you can see a reference gap tolerance here that's put in for this particular dataset. However, the actual gap tolerance is set when you append data to the dataset. So you do that manually within Append Logger, or automatically with a data acquisition service, or hot folders, or the APIs. For this particular set of data, it is daily, so 1, 2, 3. So we have used 1440 minutes as the gap tolerance. That's 24 hours times 60 minutes. And your gap tolerance should be a minimum of separation of your data intervals. Okay, and when you choose this radio button, apply gap processing tolerance in the import options, that's when it actually sets it into this data set itself. Okay, so I'll just close that, and we can open up our data set in Data Correction Toolbox, and you can have a look. So when we're viewing our data, I'll just reset the access there, you'll be able to see as you look through the time series grid of your gaps and your empty values. You see they're listed right here. There's a gap from the first point, which is 1978, January 1st. Then there's a gap, and the gap is right before 1979, 0101. So it looks like a whole year of gap. So it's actually quite handy to use this little tab in the bottom right corner, Data Gaps. And you can see all of your gaps and empty values listed here. So you can just double click right here, and it'll highlight the gap itself. So that's a gap is, a marked gap is when there is no data value and no timestamp whatsoever. However, an empty value is when there is a timestamp and there is no data value. So if I just go back over to the time series grid, you can see it's highlighted for this section. So there are timestamps for the 24th and the 25th. There's no data, so that just comes up as an empty. So marked gaps, no timestamp, no value. Empty, timestamp, but no value, and that's the difference. Okay, so that's gap processing in AQUARIUS time series.